Morning, everyone. I'm bravely treading in dangerous waters, I think, this week. And some of you might find what I'm saying to be quite contentious, but the idea is that these are reflections, and it's good that we should think about them, and sometimes even challenge us with things that are presented to us, or challenge even our own thinking. But in that regard, refer back to Matthew's Gospel, chapter 8. And you'll remember that on Monday I mentioned to you that this chapter runs throughout the whole of this week. And in this, Jesus says to the disciples, "Who do you say that I am? Who do you say that I am?" And Peter says, "You are the Christ." And then Jesus goes on to explain what that all means. And Peter gets a little excited about it. Now remember that Peter is probably significantly older than Jesus. And Peter starts reprimanding Jesus. Jesus' response is fairly understandable. "Get behind me, Satan," he says. "Get behind me." And then he goes on to say, "The way you think is not God's way, but man's way." Man's way. Remember, he doesn't say the way that you think is God's way and not Satan's way. So in other words, saying, man, we don't have to operate with Satan being our aim. If we do things which are going to take us away from God, then they are not God's way. They're not necessarily seen to be evil. They're just out there to distract us from what is important. And I think that's what happens in society these days. A lot of people have been distracted and are easily distracted away from God's way. Not necessarily towards what they perceive to be evil, but in fact, by moving away from God, they in fact are doing the work of Satan. And that is that they are weakening his army. Weakening God's army. If we are going to be on God's side, we need to make sure that we are fervent soldiers and that we are well prepared for it. So we keep prayerful, especially as we approach Lent. Again, let's reflect on what it is that we're being asked to do. We'll need to make some sacrifices and start thinking about the things you're going to give up or the things you're going to do instead. You have a wonderful day and keep yourself safe and in good thoughts. We'll see you again. God bless. Bye-bye.